Now let's look at the pseudo selectors of CSS. There are many pseudo selectors, but these are the common ones. So let's take a look. So I have this simple little website and I have multiple links on them. Now you notice that this first link, the home link, has a different color even when I have no styles applied on it. These are the default browser styles. Now if I go and look at this particular URL, the home URL, it goes to google.com. And since my browser already knows that me, Aziz, and this browser has already visited google.com, it actually colors any visited link with a different color. This is a default browser behavior. Now, if you're coding your website, you're making it beautiful, you can actually customize that behavior. So you can come over here in your styles, you can say A, select all the elements with the element of A, colon, visited. So any link which is visited, you should color it, let's say brown. So I come over here, make it brown, save, refresh, and you see it's brown in color. I'm going to just zoom it in, and it's brown. So that is a pseudo selector. So not just the selector name or an ID or whatever. Maybe this can be an ID as well. So maybe it's a class or ID of something. So I'll say ABC. Doesn't matter what it is. So I can say ABC, and it's going to have, if ABC is visited, or A, actually this should be A, because the pseudo selector visited should only be applied to elements which are links, so anchor tags. So A with an ID of ABC, or sorry, class of ABC, do that on that. So it's the same concept, but the thing is that you apply the pseudo selector on top of any particular selector as well. So you can combine them as well on all of the different scenarios that we have noticed. Now, the second one that I want to share with you is the hover. So let's say if you hover over a particular link, let's see if you want to customize that behavior. So let's take a look. So I'm going to simply make this back to A. I'm going to come over here and look at hover. Over here, I'm going to say, let's say if we hover over a link, we want to change the background color to, let's say, some weird looking color over here. That it has a weird name that I cannot pronounce, but all these colors are available in HTML. So save, refresh, and if I hover over, you see the background color changes for all the links. All right, let's take a look at another one. That one is called active. So A:active. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to simply actually change the colors, and let's see what is the behavior. So I'm going to just make it, let's say, yellow. Save, refresh, and it seems to have no difference. But actually, let's see what happens when I click down on it. So when I press my button down, my mouse down, it actually changes in yellow color. So when actually your mouse is pressed down, it's actually called the active state. So that's what happens when you actually click down on it. Now, this particular behavior, this particular styling is not as common. The hover one you have seen throughout the internet, so that's pretty common. Now let's look at one more. That one is called focus. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to just change the background color to, let's say, light charcoal or light coral. All right, save, refresh, and it seems to have no difference. But if I press down, if I press down, it actually does this particular light coral color. So actually, what is the difference between actually when I do an active state versus a focus state? So this is the difference. You see, I'm doing nothing over here. My mouse is actually clicked over here, and there's nothing activated, nothing hovered over, nothing clicked on. All right. So now I'm going to hit the tab button on my keyboard. So when I hit tab, you see that this browser selects or focuses on one first element, which is actually something that a user can interact with. So basically a button or an input field or a radio button, some kind of field in HTML which is interactable with, so a user can interact with. So if I hit tab, the browser automatically focuses the behavior or highlights the area that is interactable with. So that's the focus state. So that's the focus on that particular button. So if I hit tab again, the focus moves to this particular button now. If I hit tab one more time, the focus is on that, the third element in the sequence of our HTML where the focus happens, right? So when an element is actually focused on, you can actually style it differently, like such. So that's why when I actually click down on it, the active state is also there and the focus state is also there. So actually that's why this particular style gets highlighted. So these are the pseudo selectors of CSS. There are many others out there as well. So if you can simply go to CSS reference Mozilla and you click over here, you will find certain pseudo selectors. So you see anything with the colon sign is actually a pseudo selector. Now, a lot of them are not actively used, so that's why I gave you the cheat sheet so you know the common ones. So that's pretty much it for this video. Play around with this, and I'm going to talk to you in the next.